Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. I am so excited to rejoin you again today. It's been a little while and I want to talk about my May hopefuls for 2025, and I'm also going to do the second half of my April reading wrap up. So let's get started. Alrighty, thanks so much for allowing me to take a little pause from filming videos the past few weeks. Just had to take care of a family member who wasn't feeling well, and then my chronic health condition had a flare. So we're hoping today is going to be a good day. I did my makeup for the first time in forever, and then I put on my cute cat earrings that my husband got me for Christmas. So they have books on them, if you can see that. So they're really cute. I thought I would wear them and just felt like chatting with you guys about what I've read and kind of what I'm hoping to read in May. So first, let's do the second half of April wrap up. And I read 3 additional books. So let me count. I have my Goodreads up back here. I read 6 books in the month of April, so that is good for me. And I read all of them except for one on ebook. I have been loving reading on my Kindle lately. It has just been my preferred method of reading, so I just feel like I read faster. It's just easier for me to hold the Kindle, and I've just been really enjoying it. So I read 5 books on ebook and 1 book on audio. So let's go through the 3 books that I've read since we last chatted. And if you're curious what I read in the first half of the month, I have a mid-month check-in video up, so you can check that out. But the second half of the month, I read 3 books. The first book I read was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. And I'm so sad to say this, but the book did not live up to my expectations. So I gave it a 3-star because I love Abby and I really don't want to rate any of her books less than a 3-star. However, if it was another author besides Abby, I probably would have rated it like a 2.5 or 2.75. I did like the book, but I didn't love it. There were several things that detracted from the story, and I didn't love the writing. Like, usually Abby's writing is just, it really clicks for me, and it just didn't this time. And I felt like the female main character was very surface level. The insta-love in the book was not for me. I don't like insta-love, and I had a hard time buying into the relationship and what the male main character did to ensure that the relationship, was successful. And if you don't know what the book is about, it is about these 2 people who meet and have an amazing first date, but the female main character is about to move back home out of state to take care of her mother who has dementia. And it's about a long distance relationship, and just the challenges that they face. It just didn't work well for me. I know a lot of people really liked the book, and that's good for them. I'm glad if they liked it, but it was definitely disappointing because, again, I love Abby Jimenez. I just read her short story, The Fall Risk, earlier this year and loved it. So, and I've read all of her other books and loved them. So it was really surprising to me that I did not like this one. But not every book is for every reader, even with authors that you have loved in the past. So just gonna hope that next book is better and kind of on par with what I'm used to from Abby. If you have never read Abby Jimenez, I personally would not recommend this book be your first book. I think that The Friend Zone and Part of Your World are a better place to start. Either of those two, those are a first in their respective series. So that would be my recommendation. I personally would not start with this one if you've never read her books. So yeah, that was the fourth book that I read in April. Okay, now let's get into the fifth book that I read this month. I read Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone, and this is the second book that I've read by this author. Last spring, I read Ready or Not, and I really enjoyed that one. I gave it 4 stars, so I was excited for this one. And again, another disappointing new release for me. I am just so bummed to be saying this because I've seen both of those books everywhere. And I thought at times about DNFing this book, but by the time that I had those thoughts, I was already invested enough that I wanted to see what happened. But I think this book is unnecessarily long. It's like over 400 pages, and it's a very slow burn. I would say the book is about a female main character who loses her best friend and the grief that causes her, and how she chooses to move forward, and kind of her experience living her life after that loss. And she meets the male main character by a nannying job. And like I said, it's a slow burn, and I don't mind a slow burn. I prefer a slow burn. Obviously, just talking about insta love in my last book, like that's not for me. So I really enjoy like the build up to a relationship. But this one was like, I couldn't even tell if the 2 main characters liked each other. It was that slow of a burn. Like, it was a little too friend zone for me to really see like the buy-in. And it's hard because this particular book is written in just one point of view, so the female main character's point of view. And I do think that is harder to portray accurately what's going on in the other person's head. Like, dual POV is very easy because obviously you get chapters from the opposite character's frame of reference. But when you are just doing a single POV, it can be really challenging to relay what the other person is feeling. And I feel like in this book, it just wasn't well done. So like, I had a hard time because I didn't get inside the male main character's head. I had a hard time knowing if he really liked her. And it was just kind of implied. But yeah, it didn't really work for me. It was set in New York City, which typically I love books that are set in New York City, but not even New York City could redeem this book for me. I gave it a 2.75 on Goodreads for my rating. So again, just another disappointment. But it is what it is. I mean, I personally, now that I've read 2 books by this author, one that I liked but didn't love, like I give it 4 stars. So I did really enjoy it. And one that I did not like, I don't think that I'll continue to read her books. And, you know, it's just kind of the nature of being a reader. Like, you just kind of have to give authors a second chance. And if it doesn't work out, like, know when to cut your ties. So for me personally, I think that I'm not planning to pick up any more of her books, but that just gives me more opportunity to pick up books that are right for me. So I'm okay with it. It was just kind of disappointing to have 2 new releases back to back that were kind of flops. So, you know, what can you do? Okay, and the third and final book that I read in April was Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower. And this is a cozy mystery. I read it for Amish in April because it is set in a small Amish town in Ohio. And this one I really did enjoy. I read it on audio and I gave it 3 stars. But for a cozy mystery, 3 stars is like a good rating in my book. So it was enjoyable. It wasn't like the greatest book I've ever read, but usually cozy mysteries aren't. And that's fine. They serve a purpose in my reading life and I'm happy with that. And it was really enjoyable. I liked the connection between the female main character and her potential love interest. So I'm excited to see that continue, hopefully. I will say that I'm not going to instantly jump into the next book by any means. My plan is to continue the Secret Bookcase mystery series by Ellie Alexander. And I will probably come back to this one at some point. I know that there are a lot of books in the series, so I don't feel the need that I want to read. Like, I don't feel compelled to read all of them right away, but I think that I can see myself coming back to them when the mood hits. So it was really enjoyable for me. I would say that it is in the top half of the cozy mysteries that I've ever read, so that's good. But so far, my favorite cozy mystery series has been A Secret Bookcase by Ellie Alexander. So that's the one that I kind of plan to prioritize. And if you know of any books that are similar to that, let me know. She has at least one other series that I'm going to check out, but if you know of any other books, either by her or other cozy mystery authors that are similar, let me know, because I would really like to check those out. So that is my April wrap up. I did want to mention that I got all of my books from the library, so that was really exciting. I got to read all of these books for free, and I read 5 on ebook, so on my Kindle, I think I mentioned that, and then 1 on audio. So moving forward in my wrap-ups, I really want to mention that because I think that that is a good reminder to others, of what resources are out there and how to read books. And then also for me, just to kind of keep track of what I read and where I read it from. I do need to update my reading tracker. So I will plan to do that maybe this weekend. I haven't updated it the whole month, so I'm a little backlogged, but that's okay. And that will give me more insight into how I read the books, percentage of rating, as well as genre and things like that. So that'll be fun. Okay, now let's chat about what I would like to read in the month of May. And the first book that I want to read is Anne of Green Gables. So last year I made a goal to rediscover some classics that I did not read as a kid, and Anne of Green Gables is on that list. I wanted to read it in the spring, but I didn't last year, so this year I really want to do that now. I know that May is technically late spring, but since it's set in, I think, Prince Edward Island, in Canada, I would say that May would probably be more springtime for them because it's colder there. So that's how I'm going to make that work in my mind. But the window of time is closing for me to read it this year, and so I really do want to read it. So that is going to be my plan, and I do plan to read that on audio. There is Middle Grade May this month. There's a tag on YouTube, and there was a Middle Grade March, but I did not participate, and it seemed like a lot of fun. So I would like to participate in that, and I know that Anne of Green Gables will kind of meet that and kind of check that box off, so that'll be good. I do have another book that I'm eyeing for that, so we'll see if I get to it. And the book that is catching my eye is Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. This has been on my TBR for a while, like a few years, and I follow a blogger. Her name is Anne Bogle at Modern Mrs. Darcy, and she has a podcast that I've listened to, gosh, well before I was even on BookTube or Bookstagram, kind of when I rediscovered reading in like 2015-ish. So I have listened to her for a long time, and she has children. So several years ago, she did a blog post about great middle grade for readers of any age, and this book was on there, and it seemed like a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I will have to check my library and see if they have a copy. I haven't even looked, but That has been the book that's kind of come to the forefront when I've been watching the other middle grade May videos. So I think that that would be fun. The cozy mystery that I want to read in May is the next book in the A Secret Bookcase series, and it's Death at the Dinner Party by Ellie Alexander. So I plan to read that one. It is available on Hoopla through my library on audiobook, and that's how I've read the first two. This series is also on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have that and you want to check it out that way, I would recommend it. And this is book 3 out of, I think there's going to be 6 in the series, and the next book and final book comes out in June. So I'm trying to pace myself to be able to read that once it comes out. I'm excited to continue that series, and I'm curious to see what will happen next in their little cute small town. Yeah, so it should be fun. Alrighty, next up, I would like to read one of these 2 books. So I recently got these in a library haul, but I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I also have The 100 Loves of Juliet. So one of those books, whichever one catches my eye, because I'm a mood reader, I would like to read one of those books. So we're gonna see which one I choose, but those are 2 that have just kind of kept calling to me even after I, hauled my library haul and have been reading other books. Those are 2 that I keep coming back to and thinking about, so I thought that would be a good goal in May. Okay, and then lastly, I am going to be participating in the Ever After Readathon, which is hosted by several awesome romance booktubers, and this will focus on historical romance, but you can read any book to participate. So I have been starting to get back into historical romance, I have mentioned that, and I don't know which book I'm going to read, but I want to make it a priority. There is one book that has been on my shelves for a very long time, and it is A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. So that is definitely a front runner. And yeah, we're going to see what I end up with. If you have a historical romance suggestion, please let me know in the comments. I would love to get some more ideas, but that is definitely something that I want to prioritize this month, one in conjunction with the readathon, but also just because I have been enjoying historical romance more lately. Alrighty, so that's it for me in today's video. I really appreciate you guys being here, and if you are new and you would like to stick around, feel free to subscribe. And I try to post about 3 to 4 videos a month. But I would love to have you stick around, and I want to hear about your reading experience so far this year. And in the comments, let me know which books you plan to read in May. And if you enjoy this video, give it a like. That is helpful, I think, for the YouTube algorithm. So until next time, I will talk with you all soon. I hope you are reading a great book, and bye for now.